We are the poet, the pastor, and the pundit, opining each week on the intersections of faith and politics. We come to you from First Congregational United Church of Christ in DeKalb, Illinois. We hope you enjoy what you hear. Thank you for listening. I want to say welcome to our listeners. We are the poet, the pastor, and the pundit. And this is a new podcast. Our tagline is the intersection of faith and politics. And I want to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. We're going to do our best each week to give commentary about where faith and politics intersect. And we've about had it up to here with the current government and what they're doing to threaten democracy. And we've been asking ourselves, what are we going to do about it?
Yep.
And we thought it was a good idea for us to put our voice out into the public airwaves and say what we think. We'll begin by introducing ourselves. I'm John Dorhauer. I am the pastor at First Congregational United Church in DeKalb, Illinois. These are a couple of the members of the church. And our mission here is to embody God's love to all. We are a just peace church. We are an open and affirming church. And we are doing everything we can to make sure that the love of God is known to all and felt by all. And I am now going to have Becky, the poet among us, introduce herself. Becky, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, before you finish, I should
Yes.
add one of the more important details about me. I'm a St. Louis Cardinal fan.
oops,
Thank you. So,
Boston Red Sox.
could be worse.
Yes, you
It
could be a
be
Yankee
the
fan.
Yankees.
Yankees.
Uh-oh.
Note the New Jersey accent when
Yes.
Sharon gets. Anyway, go ahead.
So I am a member of this church, happily, and I'm very old, and I'm from New Hampshire originally, and I'm a Red Sox fan. And what else would I want to
Say a little bit about the poet part of you.
I started to write poetry when I was a child because I grew up in a big family and I felt like I didn't have anything that was just me. Everything was always mixed up and I was always helping my mother. And I thought, I'm going to write. So I started to write poetry. I was about 8. And luckily, some of the early stuff has not been saved. But it was practice, it's like anything else. You do 9 that are not quite there, and 1, maybe I can work on this one. But you got to do the 9 before you get the 1. And that's the way it is with writing poetry.
Somebody once said, writers write.
Yeah, exactly. And not just, sit down and something fabulous comes out.
And I think I'm right about this. We have something in common. Your favorite poet would be?
My favorite poet would be, who did I say it was the last time?
It varies.
But
Being from New England.
not Robert Frost.
No.
Although he's very fine.
No.
Emily Dickinson.
Emily Dickinson.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
We have that in common.
Yes.
We've talked about that.
She's the
Emily.
greatest. She's the greatest.
She is the best. And then we have our pundit here, Sharon. Sharon, tell us a little bit about who you are.
I am the Jersey girl. So I was raised in an alcoholic home where all I wanted as a kid was peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And so I grew up to become a librarian. And actually, I was a children's
You have to
librarian.
tell everybody to be quiet.
Well, I wasn't the shushing type of librarian. I was the let kids be kids type of librarian who tried to tell kids they could act like children, but they needed to be respectful of the shared environment.
Excellent.
So, as a professional librarian, of course, we weren't allowed to be ostensibly pro anything, socially, religious, politically, at all. We served the public. But now that I'm retired, all those pent-up emotions and feelings are just springing forth. And fortunately, in a very safe environment at this church where we're open and affirming,
Yes.
and also a just peace church. So, the worlds have collided in a positive way.
The pearls are a statement.
Well, they are a statement, and I try to, now that I can, wear statement shirts. This is in testimony and appreciation for Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
Excellent.
as are the
God love
pearls, the pearls, and the pearls.
All right. I want our listeners to know these are among the people who walk into my office almost every week, bang their fist on the desk and say, what are we going to do? We have to do something,
have to do
Pastor.
something.
And we're doing a lot, but this is in addition to that. So I think my first question for both of you, and Becky, why don't you start, is how are you feeling?
I'm feeling desperate.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I feel like we're in such deep trouble globally,
Mhm.
and yet I don't know what to do about it.
Mhm.
And I feel frustrated and scared a lot of the time. And I want to do more things like this where we can talk together, we can spin ideas about how to handle the situation and emerge feeling more hopeful.
And like we're contributing to making a difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sharon, how are you feeling?
Well, I agree with Becky, and at 77, this isn't the world that I expected to live in.
Right.
I like to tell people where I grew up in Wayne, New Jersey. Washington and his men crossed through our town on the way to the Delaware, on the way to Trenton, where I graduated from college. So, disappointed would be one word I would use to describe my feelings. I think I have somewhat come out of the so scared I go to bed, cover my head with a pillow, and suck my thumb for a couple of days or so.
Yeah.
And now I do want to be more active, proactive, not just anti things, but pro. And so that's my mission now.
If I were to use a word, it would be fearful. And what I'm most afraid of is the crumbling of our democracy.
Yes.
And you both have been engaged in the fight for human rights throughout your life, and I've done my share of that as well. And over the decades, we've won some hard-fought battles for human rights, for LGBT folk, for workers, for people of color, for women.
Yes.
And they're all being taken back and eroded now. And
Mhm.
that just scares the heck out of me.
Mhm.
And I remember as a child reading that, the Great Colossus, that poem by Emma Lazarus that sits at the foot of the Statue of Liberty in your backyard there in New Jersey, and being so inspired. We're the place that the immigrants and the refugees want to
Right.
come for freedom and a new life. And we have a whole history of people making it to these shores and getting that new life.
Right.
And now they're being demonized, and it just sickens me. Given all of that, where do you find hope these days?
Good question. I think we have to make it. We have to make it by making work that we can do that helps people and that keeps hope alive.
Yeah,
I tried to put out questions,
you do.
Mhm.
and it seems to me the questions are, is this the world we thought we were creating? And is this the world we want to continue living in?
Yeah.
I have an 8-year-old granddaughter, and when I think that she, even now, has fewer
Mm,
rights to her body's health
Yes.
than I had,
right.
I I'm aghast for one thing, but I feel committed to making sure that is not true for her.
Good.
You have a poem about hope. And do you remember that line? You've quoted it to me
Yes.
often.
It's in a poem by Sharon. What's her bucket? What is her bucket? Anyway, it's a wonderful poem. It's called Hope and Love, I think. And the line is, hope is the hardest love we carry. And I thought, yep,
You know, I'm sure when you read that, it made sense to you. I think living through these times right now,
yeah,
that has to make more sense
yeah,
to you. Hope is the hardest love we carry. And one of the things that I try to communicate and hang on to as a pastor is we can't lose hope.
Right.
And I remember that conversation we had over a year about becoming a Just Peace church. One of the things we talked about is that if we vote to do this, we have to believe and hope that peace is possible. The day
Yes.
we lose that, what's
Yeah.
left?
That's an important point, that no matter how wretched things seem and how awful and how difficult for so many people, there is still hope. And we need to believe that.
Yeah.
I do believe it. And I remember when we had those conversations, and I remember asking myself, okay, hope is good and it takes action. And I'm always asking myself, how am I backing that up?
Yeah.
Good point.
And I don't always have the answer, but I keep asking myself
So
what to do.
we brought up Emily a little while ago. She's my favorite poet, and I have one of her poems on the side of my desk. And she writes this line that my little toil of love I deem is large enough for me. And I keep that there because I go home every day exhausted. And I look at what's happening in the world and ask myself, okay, you're exhausted, but what difference did you make? When you look at the impact, and this is Emily saying, don't think that it's your job to end hunger, to end warfare, to end. Hope is built on these little toils of love that we do
Yes.
every day as an antidote to the hatred that we experience. And one of the things that I've borne witness to over the 2 years that I've been the pastor of this church is the daily little toils of love that everybody commits to. And
Yes.
that's my hope.
That is so important, because we think in big terms, like, what are we going to do about getting rid of war? What are we going to do about people who are too poor to even feed their children? What are we going to do? But we can't act on that stage because it's not real enough. Oh, it's real enough,
It's real
but
enough.
it's not doable enough. You can't
Mhm.
feed all the hungry people just by yourself and your two or three good friends. It's not going to work. So there's always the task of bringing the big hope down, not down, but into doable action. And I think that's part of what we're talking about, is what is our doable action?
My little toil of love. Emily has such a way with words.
She nailed it.
Yeah, she
did.
does.
And you know, she never left her home after.
It's amazing
I
to
mean,
me
and she,
that somebody so world-wise
yes,
would be so parochial.
she made plum pudding, which her family loved. And she stayed in her room. And if people came to see her, she inquired as to who the heck they were. She didn't use that language, but you know,
But she thought it.
but she did, absolutely. And she was an amazing person.
Yeah, truly
And I
amazing.
think it instructs, no, maybe not instructs, but it offers itself as an example of how to be in the world, not necessarily standing on a stage and speaking to thousands, but making a good plum pudding for your family.
And I think just keeping a positive attitude,
Oh.
and I'm not one to speak about this, but in my day-to-day, I like to compliment people. And yesterday there was a little old lady, kind of like me, walking out of the hairdresser, and she had the perfectly coiffed white hair. It was so beautiful. And I'm sitting at the park bench, scrolling through my phone. And I said, "Oh, your hair looks so lovely. You must have just had it done." And she just was beaming.
Yeah.
And I sat there feeling totally fulfilled. That little
Yes, yes.
bit
A
to
little
me
token of joy.
is just a little tiny bit of joy, but it gave me a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was sitting there having walked, a whole block. I needed a rest. And so with that little interchange, I was energetic and, moving along. So
Exactly.
we need that kind of energy, that hopeful, positive energy to accomplish
Absolutely.
anything.
So there's a line in a Jackson Brown song that I
Okay.
find deep meaning in. And I say a Jackson Brown song. It's actually a song by a poet out of Nicaragua who
Really?
was arrested by Bautista during his reign of hell and terror. And he was himself a poet and a songwriter whose ideas inspired the masses. And so Bautista throws him in jail where for the better part of a decade he was tortured and abused, and he's let out. And everybody's sort of wondering, how's he going to be now? Is the anger going to come through, the hatred? And what came through was compassion. And he wrote this song, and it's called My Personal Revenge. And it describes what his personal revenge is going to be. And it's written in Spanish. Jackson Brown translates it into English and as an homage to him, does it. And here's the line, and it's about keeping up hope and not losing joy in the midst of this and how important that is. And the line is, my personal revenge, and he's speaking to his jailer, will be to show you these hands, which once you so mistreated, but failed to take away their tenderness.
It's beautiful.
Wonderful.
That's
That's
wonderful.
beautiful.
that's incredibly inspirational.
And the word tenderness is so
Oh.
perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So you abused me, you threw me in prison, you took everything away, but you didn't take away my compassion, my kindness, my tenderness, my joy, the little things that matter.
Absolutely.
I love that.
That's wonderful.
So I'm going to read, they don't know what's coming here.
Okay.
I'm going to read something I found this morning.
Get
This is
ready.
a snippet of a conversation between J.D. Vance
Okay.
and
Okay.
the devil himself, Stephen Miller,
Mm-hmm.
right? The power behind the throne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
J.D. Vance. It's kind of bizarre that we have a bunch of old,
Mm-hmm.
primarily white people who are out there protesting the policies that keep people safe when they've never felt danger in their entire lives. Now he's making an assumption here. Miller, we're going to ignore these stupid white hippies. They'll need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 80 years old, and we're going to get back to business protecting the American people.
Oh, my Lord.
How do you react to that, you old white hippies?
Yeah. My response is not printable, but who the heck does he think he is?
Mm.
Good gods.
I think that's the question for all of them. Who the heck do they think
Yeah,
they
who do
are?
they think they are? And who do we allow them to be?
Well, that's another question.
The assumptions that each of them make are so staggering, and the fact that we would take them at their words
Yeah.
Yeah.
is almost mind-boggling, as many of their remarks are. If all us white hippie gals in our 70s and 80s
Old white hippie
Old white
gals.
hippie
went home, you're right, there would be fewer people protesting because it takes two adults to have children and have a family these days, and they're working. And those older than us may be in nursing homes. So who's your audience there, dudes? I mean,
Hey,
uh, critical thinking would be an important skill for all of us to develop right now. And those, they just prove their ugliness and stupidity. And that's all I have to say on that subject.
oh, come on, say so.
Well, this is kind of how these conversations are going to go. We're not going to go on much longer. I'm always going to invite each of you to give a closing word or a closing thought to our listener, and we'll end with that. Sharon, do you have a closing word or thought?
I do. It's kind of become my motto, and that is we the people.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
when we
We
think
the
of
people.
that historic and broad statement, we each need to remember that I am the we that we are talking about collectively.
Yes.
It is the responsibility of each of us to reclaim our democracy and protect and defend it for ourselves and for our children and grandchildren and so forth and so on. So that's my thing. We the people. It's me. It's you. It's I. Let's go.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Is that your closing word? Let's go.
go.
Let's go. Let's do something.
Yeah. Yeah, fine. We dither. I certainly do. What are we going to do? What are we going to? But really, the thing is not what are we going to do? It's like, let's do it. Whatever it is, we've got to do it now.
Well, if you're just meeting these two incredible old hippies, you're already falling in love with them as I have, and we hope over time you get to know us all a little bit better, and I hope you begin to appreciate why I think their wisdom is going to be so helpful to us. I have a final word, but I'll save it for the last thing I do. For now, I just want to say thank you. We are the poet, the pastor, and the pundit, and we'll be coming to you each week. Thank you for listening. Here's my closing word. We are in this together. We need each other. So hang in there. And thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That was our podcast this week. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition of The Poet, the Pastor, and the Pundit, opining on the intersections of faith and politics. Thank you for listening.